New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring.
Live from a secure concrete bunker somewhere in Ohio, New Thought Media Network presents Pastor Michael Mangus with Friday's Fireside Chat, spiritual conversation for today. Here he is from the secret radio room, surrounded by thousands of watts, Pastor Michael Mangus.
Well, you should take off the banner if you want to be on the air. Hi there. Good evening to everyone across the United States and also around the world. It is time once again for another thrill-packed, fun-filled, and guaranteed, always exciting edition of the Friday Evening Fireside Chat here on your New Thought Media Network. I am the Reverend Michael Mangus, broadcasting this evening from the Charles Fillmore secret radio room that I can access anytime I want to, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, like Charles Fillmore, even at 3 o'clock in the morning, and go on the air. And I am surrounded here by thousands of watts in the extremely secure concrete bunker that is highly secured, extremely top secret, and only one person knows where the top secret bunker is located, including Reverend Jeff Radcliff has no clue where the top secret bunker is located, and we're going to keep it that way. That's right. Well, hi there. Welcome to the Friday Evening Fireside Chat here on your New Thought Media Network. I'm Reverend Michael again. Good to see everyone this evening. And for those of you who would like to comment this evening, we are live, by the way, not Memorex. Do you remember those commercials, Jeff, where, the opera singer? He's saying, I don't know. Okay. So they had a commercial that said, is it live or is it Memorex? And what would happen is that this glass would shatter, and they did not know whether it was tape or whether it was a live person shattering the glass. So anyhow, but we're going to have a good show for you this evening. Again, please feel free to go ahead and write something in the comments, either on Facebook or on YouTube. And again, all my shy people out there who don't want to admit that they watch the Friday Evening Fireside Chat, I get it. All you need to do is send me an email during the week, pastormichaelmangus@gmail.com, pastormichaelmangus@gmail.com. So the purpose of our Friday evening get-together is to put another log on the fire, have a tasty drink with us, and to talk about contemporary issues from a spiritual/new thought perspective. And again, the views and opinions expressed are those of who gave them, not those of the New Thought Media Network, Centers for Spiritual Living, Divine Science International, Ministers Association, or anyone else. Take what you like and leave the rest. So what we're talking about here is having a new thought about the news. We do not shy away from the news here. What we do is we go ahead and we take a look at it. A lot of times we poke fun at it, but in the poking of fun, what we're doing is we're bringing forth, hopefully, a spiritual truth and or a spiritual way of taking a look at the news. So once again, here he is, doing, again, double duty today. Doing not one, but 2 shows. He is the New Thought Media Network Iron Man.
Who
And
looks
that
like
is-
Chewbacca's grandmother right now.
and that is Divine Science Minister, Reverend Jeff Radcliff. Jeff, how are you this evening from the great state of Tennessee?
I'm doing all right. We had a few days ago a little break in the heat. It's starting to warm back up, but it's absolutely beautiful out today. And just so you know, my memory is intact.
Okay.
I do remember the Memorex commercials.
You do?
I do. Well, yes, I do. And one of them was the opera star, and wasn't another one? Didn't they do one with Ella Fitzgerald?
I don't know. I think so.
I think they did too, because Ella could shatter glass for real.
Okay.
So yeah, I remember those.
Well, the real reason we're here tonight is not for the Fireside Chat. The real reason we're here this evening is because of the world famous and ever popular.
Now here's Reverend Jeff Radcliff with the story of the week.
Yeah, that's a sweet sound.
That's the only reason why we're here.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when legal was reviewing your story or story of the week,
Mm-hmm.
So what happened was that Reverend Dr. Robert Brzezinski, he was going past the legal department and they were howling with laughter over your story this evening. So legal told me to tell you that you are allowed up to 2 F-bombs to be used during our show this evening at your discretion.
Okay.
And believe me, there's enough craziness in the news that I think that you may have to call legal for another F-bomb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you know what's funny is we talk about Rev Doc Briz, but he doesn't show up here. But he showed up on our post show this afternoon. We had just finished doing Divine Science Everywhere, and we're just having a brief chat with our guest,
Mm-hmm.
who was the Reverend Dr. Bill Marcioni
Mm-hmm.
from INTA and ANTN.
Mm-hmm.
And we were having a good old time, and then all of a sudden, out of the blue, up he pops. And the first words out of my mouth was, "Well, who let the riffraff in?"
Yes.
Thank goodness he laughed. But he did mention legal today.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
You mean about them howling with laughter?
I can't remember at some point. I just remember him saying something about legal. I did ask him if he was going to show up here tonight.
Yeah.
He said no, he had another engagement. So he's out partying, doing whatever.
So
He said
that
it
means
was
we can
social.
do whatever we want, right?
Yeah. When the cat's away, the mice are gonna fucking time. So let's get this show started.
Okay, well, good evening to
Hey.
Tim, and Tim's with us this evening. Thank you, sir, for being with us.
Tim.
All right. So explain to me, Reverend Jeff,
Uh-huh.
please explain to me what the heck is going on down in Texas.
I wish I knew.
There was no quorum today. So what happened is that the Texas House again failed to reach a quorum as some Democrats refused to return to the House amid their bid to block Republican redistricting efforts. The House will reconvene on Monday and try again. Yeah. And so House Speaker Dustin Burrows says that he is working with the Texas State Attorney General to make Texas civil arrest warrants for absent Democrats enforceable in the state of Illinois, where some of the legislators are staying. I would say there's a slim to none chance that any of the law enforcement is going to arrest anyone from Texas.
Well, let's talk about why they're in Illinois in the first place.
Right. So the reason being is that Governor Greg Abbott has said that the GOP redistricting proposals, which would dismantle up to 5 districts currently held by Democrats, could be expanded to 6 or 7 or 8 new seats. Meanwhile, the Texas House has suspended direct deposit for absent lawmakers. They only make like $500 a month or something like that, forcing them to pick up their paychecks in person in Austin. So your comments, Reverend Jeff.
Well, you didn't go far enough into why they're doing what they're doing. They're trying to gerrymander. They're trying to gerrymander these districts in favor of Republicans in order to, what's the word? They're gaming the system basically,
right?
To get more Republican seats in the midterm coming up here.
Mm-hmm.
The thing of it is, gerrymandering is legal. I'm not sure exactly what the rules are in Texas, but most states, when they do it during a census year, which is every 10 years. If the year ends in 0, that's when you do it. Well, I'm sorry, but this year ends in a 5. And what they're doing is, I know, right? Who knew? What they're doing is trying to do this in the middle of the term, and there's a big question over whether or not it's allowed. Apparently, in Texas, it is allowed whenever they feel like they have to cheat.
All right, so let me play devil's advocate this evening. So those other blues,
we're spiritual. We don't believe in that person.
Okay, well, anyhow,
play somebody else's advocate.
All right, well,
be Abbott's advocate, since he's as close to the devil as we can get.
Okay, real good.
What do you call him? No, I won't say that.
So anyhow, blue states like California have been threatening to do the same thing if they do it down in Texas. So again, the reason why I'm even bringing up this story, and we're even talking about it, is that the up and coming 2026 elections are extremely important. There's very, very narrow margins of Democrats to Republicans on who gets the ruling power in both the House and the Senate. And this whole idea of the both sides do it crowd have been putting on Facebook this week and other social media about other gerrymandering or gerrymandered districts around the, especially around in Ohio and also in Illinois. So, but again, take a look at Ohio. It's towards and skewed towards the Republicans. Jeff Jordan's district is all over the map. It's like a big snake that is in the upper left-hand corner of our great state. That's all red, again, brought about by our state legislature. You see, again, it's the state that sets the districts for the House. It's not the federal government. The reason for all of this is that for us discussing it, it's because this election coming up is real important. And what we can do here is, again, to raise our voices and continue to put pressure on our legislators and also on the presidency, and even in red states like Ohio, is to put pressure on our elected officials. What a majority of the MAGA crowd wants us as liberals or people who hold an opposing view, what they want us to do is just shut up. It's not going to happen. Don't do it. Continue to raise your voice, do it peacefully, but continue to point out the glaring inconsistencies in this Trump platform that is crazy as all get out. And that why are the states, the red states, why are they trying to get a few more seats? It's because, again, it's so close. Your comments, Reverend Jeff.
I don't know what it is in their mindset that makes them think that they can't win on their own merits. Well, we know that they can't, but for some reason they feel that they can't go into an election without rigging it to their advantage. And when Donald Trump talks about rigged elections and whatnot, he's projecting what he wants his people, his MAGA people, to do in order to help him win, and to help his ideology win. It's simply crazy. I mean, it's like you said, what good's a little bit more red going to do? It's already, you're already red as it is. Texas is a red state.
Right.
You live in a red state. I live in a blood red state. There's no way in hell a Democrat can get anything done here. As a matter of fact, they had a meeting with, what's his face, the South African, Elon Musk, wants to take and bore under the city of Nashville all the way to the airport to make a tunnel with mass transit to get back and forth to the airport.
Right.
And one of the Democratic Congress people was going to go into this meeting. It was an open meeting, and he was denied. They had state troopers out there and everything blocking his way so that he couldn't get in there. You're already fucking blood red. How much more do you need? It just boggles my mind.
Yeah. So
there's no real excuse for it other than the fact that if they can't have it all, then they don't want you to have it either.
Tim Rhodey says, remember the statement, there are two Americas. Former Democratic elected Congressman John Edwards, separate rules for the mega rich and the 99.9% of the rest of us. Yes, absolutely, yep. Tim. And here is somebody, and Tim, I'll pay you back in a couple of weeks when I see you at radio lunch. He says, I 100%, did he say 100? Yes, he said 100% agree with me.
Mm-hmm.
I have to pay him for that, right?
Yes, you do, because how often do you get people to agree with you, right? So,
not that much.
Yeah, slip him a couple of bucks.
Okay, real good. Hey, but the news,
yes,
just keeps on coming. So the pretty lady in the back there, the Justice Department opened investigation into New York Attorney General who won civil fraud case against Trump. The Justice Department has subpoenaed New York Attorney General Letitia James's office as a part of a criminal investigation into President Donald Trump's longtime adversary, according to multiple sources, in the latest example of the Trump administration taking on the president's perceived enemies. The two grand jury subpoenas were issued by the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Northern District of New York, seeking information about James's investigation into the Trump Organization and also the National Rifle Association. The Justice Department declined to comment on subpoenas and grand jury investigation. But wait, there's more. A watchdog agency launched a probe into former Trump prosecutor Jack Smith. The Office of Special Counsel has launched an investigation into the former special counsel Jack Smith, who led the criminal probes into President Donald Trump's handling of classified documents and alleged efforts to subvert the 2020 election. the investigation into potential Hatch Act violations come as Trump and his allies have sought retribution against political enemies and those who brought investigations against him. Now, the Hatch Act limits certain political activities of government workers. It is supposed to stop the federal government from affecting elections or going about its activities in a partisan manner. And according to the Office of Special Counsel, explanation of the rules, it applies to federal employees as well as to state and local employees who work with federally funded programs. Now, Jeff, I remember conversations that we had last year before the elections, and I remember us giving a prophetic word, a word of knowledge that said that Trump 2.0 would be as bad or worse than we thought, and that he would use and weaponize the DOJ and anybody else that he could to go after people that had legitimate criminal complaints against this man. Your comment?
Well, the weapon of choice that they seem to be using is a shotgun, because they're just shooting out into the air, hoping to find something that's going to get hit. You know,
right.
The shotgun, it sprays out everywhere. They're hoping to catch something, basically. That's why they're going after Tish James. That's why they're going after so many people. It's just crazy to me. They're just looking for something to distract the rest of us from realizing that he's got his hands in our back pocket, pulling out the wallet, taking out whatever he can get out of there, and then running off with it. That's what it is. It's nothing but distraction.
It's the big
Jack Smith is gonna be fine. Tish James is gonna be fine. Oh my God, what's your name? Down in Atlanta, the black woman that they went after. She's gonna be fine. They're all gonna be fine, simply because they've got nothing on them, because there's nothing to be had.
Absolutely. So again, that this always brings up, when you hear stuff like this, at least for me, the whole idea from Scripture is that, there's wars and rumors of wars. Yeah. Is that we need to keep our peace about us. We need to, again, to keep praying for the United States. And this evening, just for you, Jeff, during my extensive research today, Robert Reich is a former labor secretary and also a noted economist. What he did this week was he put out on his Substack a baker's dozen of important steps to fight Trump fascism. Now, I want us to just listen to these, because I think that any one of these suggestions, if you just took one of them and acted upon it, that what would happen is that it would really help in calling this government to order. So Robert starts out by saying, friends. That's how he starts his letter out. In light of Trump's worsening cruelty, vindictiveness, and even more belligerent attacks on democracy, many of you ask, what can I do now? So here are a baker's dozen, that's 13 recommendations. If you have others, again, go ahead and share them with Robert. But he says the first one is protect the decent and hardworking members of your community who are undocumented. This is an urgent moral call to action. So again, what you can do is, if you hear of any ICE raids anywhere in your city or county, let others know. Again, establish a hotline of ICE raid information and a first responders list. And again, the other thing that Robert Reich said is that I recommend that you order red cards from the Immigrant Legal Resource Center and make them available in and around your community. The second suggestion here is protect your LGBTQ plus members of your community. Robert Reich said that Trump is making life more difficult for the LGBTQ plus community. They're trying to alter civil rights laws, and they're trying to change how such laws are enforced, and that there are pending lawsuits that individuals from these conservative organizations are hoping that will get through to the Supreme Court to overturn same-sex marriage. So again, protect our brothers and sisters, protect members of the LGBTQ plus community. Go out there, be there during Pride in your community. Let the people that you love know that you unconditionally love and support them. The third one is help protect officials in your community or state when Trump and his administration are targeting for vengeance, like we just talked about. The fourth one is participate in or organize boycotts of companies that are enabling the Trump's regime, like Elon Musk, Tesla, anything that advertises on X or Fox News, as well as companies like Jeff Bezos's Washington Post and Amazon that have, again, surrendered to Trump. Number 5, to the extent...
Whoa, stop, just a second. I have just the slightest problem with that one.
Okay.
Simply because a lot of these companies give to both sides. They're trying to hedge their bets because they've got customers on each side of the aisle. So when you're boycotting Chick-fil-A because they give money to Republican causes, they're also giving money to Democratic causes. They're giving more money to the Republicans, but they are giving to the other side as well. So, you gotta take all that into consideration.
Yes, and that this is just a list of suggestions. You do not have to do any of them. But again, when people ask me or they ask you, well, what can we do? Here's a list that Robert Reich put together. Number 5, to the extent that you're able, fund groups that are litigating against Trump. Absolutely. Number 6, spread the truth. Get the news through reliable sources and spread it. And again, if people are being brainwashed by Fox News and others, again, to say, oh, well, where did you get that? And question their sources. A lot of times people will back down when you do that. Number 7, urge friends, relatives, and acquaintances to avoid Trump's propaganda outlets such as, like I said, Fox News, Newsmax, X, and also Instagram and Facebook. Number 8, push for progressive measures in your community and state. Number 9, encourage worker action. Number 10, organize and mobilize for upcoming elections. And that's going to be very important here. Your vote counts. People, they are trying to take away. And as people who are trying to do that, that's, again, seems to be the Republicans, is that they're trying to take away your right to vote here. So to combat that is, again, to speak up and speak out and to get everyone that you can registered to vote. Number 11, call your senators and representatives constantly. Number 12, keep the faith. Do not give up on America. And number 13, beyond these, please be sure to find room in your life for joy, fun, and laughter. Do not let Trump and his darkness take you over. Some suggestions from noted Labor Secretary Robert Reich. Your comments, Reverend Jeff.
Well, I'm already seeing a lot of that taking place in and around this area in Middle Tennessee. There is an extensive ICE reporting network that I've seen on Facebook, on Reddit, on Instagram. So we are keeping an eye on those people. I don't get to a lot of the areas where ice is normally seen. So, that's I can see and report sightings, secondhand. But
Right.
yeah, as for the LGBTQ, I read an article here just a little while ago that trans members of the military with between 15 and 18 years of service are being denied their retirement pay. Um, a lot of soldiers have taken advantage of early retirement, and they're getting retirement pay for this. Trans members are not. They are being discharged under a general, some general designation, but they're being denied their retirement pay. They're just getting like a lump sum payout. Like if they were a younger, less seasoned member who wanted to retire, they get some sort of a payout.
Right.
So yeah. So that's weird. So that's really weird. So
Jeff, do you think that's going to hold up in court, though?
in the lower courts, no, I don't think it'll be held up at all. It won't be upheld at all. When it gets to the Supreme Court, your guess is as good as mine, considering that Trump's got them all in his slimy little back pocket.
Right.
Probably not.
Tim was saying it is simply stunning and unnerving how many Americans either don't care or are unaware or think all of these insane actions are fine, even great, mind-blowing, and frightening. And what is frightening is that 70,000 individuals have applied to become ICE agents. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah. Mr. Mackey from South Park became an ICE agent. And then, who was that has-been actor that played Superman? Dean Cain.
Yes.
I'm like, dude, trying to stay relevant by becoming an ICE agent? Seriously? I mean,
folks, it looks dark. I get that. However, that when it is dark on the outer, that calls for us to shine our light of love and our light of truth. And that to have and give voice to individuals of our community, to be the person who is inclusive of everyone and speaks up and speaks out for everyone's rights. So that is what we are currently in here in America with Donald. And again, all of this is just a symptom of the anger that has been going on for years. So the solution here is not more hate, but again, hopefully more discussion, more people hopefully seeing the light. Now, there is right now 33% that no matter what you or I say or anyone else says, they have drunk the Kool-Aid and that they believe Donald does no wrong, even though that, again, more Epstein news this week and other things that are going on. So, but to be there for those people who are questioning why in the HE double toothpicks, they went ahead and they voted for this guy. Your opinion, Reverend Jeff?
Who knows? It's like you said, 33% of them are ready to follow him out into the jungle and lie down on the ground because that's what's going to end up happening. It's going to be another Jonestown. I can't imagine being that far up somebody's back pocket that
you were going to say something else.
Yeah, I'm trying very hard to behave.
Oh,
But
okay.
I've got some choice words. But these people are, I mean, they've just let themselves go so far out on a limb behind him. I'm surprised they don't hear the wood crack. Um, like the news out of Tennessee here just the other day. Pete Hegseth is talking about leaving the federal government in order to run for. He's got a house here in Tennessee, and so
Right.
he's trying to see whether or not he would qualify to run for governor of Tennessee, which I don't think he will. I think that he does not meet the requirements for that. One who does is one of those who has her head up Trump's ass is Marsha Blackburn. And anybody from Tennessee will tell you Marsha Blackburn is not what this state needs. She is, she take Marjorie Taylor Greene,
Okay.
who is finally kind of sort of coming to what a little bit of sense she has
All right.
when it comes to MAGA, and double it, and you've got Marsha Blackburn, who is like a 72-year-old. She's a home ec major. That's what she went to college for. That's what she got her degree in, home economics.
Okay.
How
What's wrong with
in
that, Jeff?
How in the hell were the people of Tennessee thought that that was worthy of her being 20 years in federal service? How she got qualified for that, I have no idea. And chances are she's probably going to end up being the next governor of the state of Tennessee simply because these people can't stop to think for themselves, is this right or wrong for me?
Right.
They're going to be voting against their own interests. That's what Americans tend to do. For some reason, and I have yet to figure it out, Americans tend to be very short-sighted. They see things right there in front of them, and only if it affects them, they don't look far enough down the road to see the accident that they're getting ready to plow right into.
But I think that individuals, especially with rising prices because of tariffs, when you go to Walmart, let me tell you something. My grocery bill's gone up about a third of what it was last year.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that the more that individuals start seeing the effects that are out there, and hopefully they're now, again, we know that right now that 30% or 33% are just, they're temporarily lost here. So, and it doesn't really matter. And again, all these people are just kind of chomping on the bit of, as far as with the Epstein allegations, they're not going to boot this guy out of office for those. They're just not, because we do not have enough votes in the House or the Senate for impeachment. So the only thing that we can do here is to keep the fire up with our representatives, to make sure that we're registered to vote, and to make sure that we vote next year. So guess what?
Time for a break?
Time for a break. And we will talk more. But coming up, ladies and gentlemen, it will be time for that award-winning segment of our show.
Now here's Reverend Jeff Radcliffe with the story of the week.
Bring it on.
Bring it on. And you are allowed up to 2 F-bombs during the show, and you have not used one yet.
It's coming. I feel it in my nose.
You wait. I have a story about J.D. Vance. And his.
You're gonna make me waste my F-bomb on J.D. fucking Vance? Yeah, I used it right there. Oh my god.
That's one.
Well, yeah, that's one. Shut the hell, man! I'm telling you. All right.
I better get him off the screen before he gets me into more trouble. Well, hi there. Good evening. This is a Friday evening fireside chat here on your New Thought Media Network. Coming up this Sunday at the church that I serve at currently, which is Summit CSL in Akron, Ohio. By the way, we had a wonderful picnic this week. So if great fellowship, great time that we had. The one thing that I think the real gift that I have, again, is spiritual community, is that people that love me unconditionally, no matter what my warts are, they care about me, they love me, and they care about me enough to be able to take me aside once in a while and say, what are you doing? But this Sunday at Summit CSL, we'll be online. Grab your cup of coffee, your tea, your espresso. Join us online, 10:30 Eastern, 7:30 Pacific time. And again, I really do believe that we have one of the best services in New Thought. And this Sunday, we'll have a talk from my friend, author and wellness consultant, Dr. Carol Ann Drick. So go to summitcsl.org for more information about that. And we'll be right back with more good stuff. This is the Friday evening Fireside Chat here on your, and I mean your, New Thought Media Network.
Please help us say thank you to our organizational sponsors, including the Hefferland Foundation, Affiliated New Thought Network, International New Thought Alliance, Science of Mind Archives and Library Foundation, Center for Spiritual Living Denver, Center for Spiritual Living Midtown, New Thought Philadelphia, Planned Happiness Institute, Summit Center for Spiritual Living, One Heart Retreats, Center for Spiritual Living on the Lake, Unity Kitchener, Unity Spiritual Center Ottawa, Om Center for Spiritual Living, Satya Center, Begin Within Ministries, Center for Spiritual Living North Jersey, Unity of Savannah, and the Center for Spiritual Living Seattle, as well as all of our individual donors. Thank you for being part of the New Thought Media Network. Please like, share, and subscribe. New Thought Media Network, positively inspiring.
The views and opinions expressed by Pastor Michael Mangus are generally right. However, they are his own and do not reflect the views and opinions of New Thought Media Network, Centers for Spiritual Living, or any other person living or dead. As they say in the 12-Step Recovery Program, take what you like and leave the rest. Here again is Pastor Michael.
And once again, I am the only person that has to have that kind of disclaimer on his program per legal.
Mine's coming.
You think so?
Probably. One of these days, I'm going to piss off the wrong person, and yeah, I'm going to end up having to have a disclaimer as well.
Well, okay. Well,
But
ladies
so
and
far,
gentlemen,
I can tell you that Divine Science Federation International and the Divine Science Ministers Association are still okay with me. So there's that.
okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, once again, by popular demand and also award-winning, we now present
Reverend Jeff Story of the Week. Just as a note that I can see. Blessed, you tell me what to see. Will W7 and on starts K. Reverend Jeff Story of the Week. Just as a note that I can see. Blessed, you tell me what to see. When W7 and on starts K. Reverend Jeff Story.
all right, enough of that.
Reverend Jeff Story.
You're just jealous because you don't have a cool theme song like I do.
I don't.
You know what? I gave a lot of thought to the story of the week, and I came up with a really cool one
All right.
that legal didn't want This is what they were laughing at my story. So I came up with another one. I came up with something unique because of something that happened a few weeks ago. Now, if you remember a few weeks ago, the story of the week was about the zebra that was running loose all over Middle Tennessee around the Nashville area for like a week before he was finally captured. Today, in my Facebook memories of all places, I came across a video news story that I had posted last year that I'd completely forgotten about that goes right back to escaped exotic animals. A year ago this week, a guy by the name of Jeff, who was not me, looked out his back window and saw some water buffalo from Asia, big freaking water buffaloes in his backyard and wandering the streets of his neighborhood just east of downtown Nashville. And so he took a video of them. These are pictures that came from the video, by the way. Somebody left the gate open. Nashville is this unique area, okay? If you know the music of Amy Grant, several years ago, she had a song called Mimi's House, which was about her great-grandmother, Mimi. Mimi grew up on a farm, and the town of Nashville kind of grew around her. So she had this farm in the middle of all these houses and buildings and businesses and things of that nature. And there are several places in the Nashville area that are like that. If you go down to Brentwood, which is some serious money, people, I'm telling you, serious money. Dolly Parton has a house in Brentwood. I was driving there one day looking at all these beautiful houses, and then all of a sudden I'm in a pasture and there are longhorn cattle, so Nashville is real weird in this, but they've got this farmer. Somebody had gotten into the pasture where the water buffalo were, didn't close the fence, and they went wandering around. And see, this had happened a couple of days prior. They were also on the loose. So this guy, Jeff, he gets out with the neighbors and he's herding them. If you notice that one, it's the photograph is lit really weird. That's because he was taking the video from within his car. He was herding them down the street in his car with his phone, shooting video through the windshield. So that's why it looked kind of funky. But the neighbors said that this happens on occasion. So they put up fences around their house to keep the water buffalo out.
All right.
And what's interesting is a lot of people don't know about water buffalo. He says that he's got water buffalo living in his backyard. And he says that people are like, well, what are water buffalo? Well, they're native to Asia. They're used for milk and for meat. And about the time that this guy, Jeff, moved into his neighborhood, and this was back, he said, in 2016, about a year after that, the farmer brought the water buffalo to a pond on property that he owned behind Jeff's house. Now, water buffalo like it wet. They like it, and this past spring, we had some serious rain. So these water buffalo were loving it, right? They can handle it where the domestic cattle cannot. But, so people have got water buffalo down here. I've seen, like I said, I've seen longhorn cattle, So there you have it. And all that came about simply because I remembered talking about the zebra just a few weeks ago.
And ladies and gentlemen,
that's my story of the week, and I'm sticking to it.
That's Reverend Jeff's story of the week. Yeah. And we have an update here. Our voiceover guy, it says Tom Daniels will be at our next radio brunch. So more likely is I'm going to have to buy him dinner again. And then also make sure that he has enough energy drinks because he likes his energy drinks. He'll bring them into the restaurant. So.
Oh, okay. Does he walk in, just blazingly walk in with him, or
no? He just walks in with him. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Blazingly. Is that a word? That's not a word. I meant blatantly.
Blatantly.
Yeah,
All right.
blazingly.
Okay.
Yeah.
We have time for one more, and I again. Well, happy birthday to JD Vance. Okay. We'll get that.
Today?
No, last week.
Oh, okay.
But anyhow, JD Vance went kayaking for his birthday, and the Secret Service had the river level raised. Vice President JD Vance security detail had an Ohio River's water level raised last week to accommodate a kayaking trip that he and his family took to celebrate his 41st birthday. The U.S. Secret Service said it requested the increased water flow for the Little Miami River, first reported by The Guardian, to ensure that motorized watercraft and emergency personnel could operate safely while protecting the Republican vice president, whose home is in Cincinnati. But critics immediately blasted the action as a sign of the vice president's entitlement, particularly giving the Trump administration focus on slashing government spending. Richard Painter, who served as the chief White House ethics lawyer under President George W. Bush, said on X, "It is outrageous for the Army Corps of Engineers to spend taxpayer money to increase the water flow in a river so that the VP can go canoeing when budget cuts to the National Park Service have severely impacted family vacations for everyone." The Corps of Engineers declined to address any financial impact of raising the river. Their spokesperson said that the agency's Louisville district temporarily increased the outflow from the Cedar Creek Lake in southwest Ohio into the Little Miami to support safe navigation of U.S. Secret Service personnel. And he said that the move met operational criteria and fell within normal practice. Now, such special treatment isn't reserved for one political party. When a Democratic Vice President Al Gore, then a presidential candidate, paddled down the Connecticut River for a photo op in 1999, utility officials had opened a dam and released 4 billion gallons of water to raise the river's level. That request, too, came after a review of the area by the Secret Service, and Gore also experienced political pushback. Your comments, Reverend Jeff. How dare he go ahead and just, make a couple of phone calls to the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers and say, listen, you know what? I don't have class 2 rapids. I need, we need to make them only class 1.
I have no idea what you're talking about, but that's okay.
Well, that's rapids.
Whatever.
The folks who do the kayaking, they rate rivers based upon the.
Yeah, I know that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying is that there was too little water on the river, so they went ahead and just said, let's put an extra billion in.
Go floats, no matter how much water he's got. You didn't need that. I mean, I'm sorry, but they're slashing programs left, right, and center.
Right.
People are beginning to suffer. They're starting to see this. Even the MAGA people who are being affected are starting to see it. And they waste that kind of money doing that. I mean, it's just ludicrous. And I'm surprised that somebody at the Army Corps of Engineers didn't have enough cojones to say no. They'd have probably gotten fired, but
Well, it was for security.
They should have
reasons.
said no. What? It was not.
Well, what happens
You
if
tell me that a
vice
Secret Service
president's
agent
vote?
who is
What happens if it flips over and it doesn't flip back up, or him or his family get into trouble out on the river? How are they going to get motorized boats out to him?
how would they get motorized boats out if it was anybody else who happened to flip over and didn't flip back, or whose family was out there? I mean, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. They would not have raised the water levels for me or you or him or anybody else.
Or even Tim Davison. They
Exactly.
wouldn't even raise it for him.
Yeah. So why should they do it? Why should they do it for him, the upholstery lover?
Because he's special.
No, he's not.
You know, he's a.
Puts his pants on just like.
Is someone going to take away his hillbilly card?
I wish they would. I wish they would. They keep talking about how down to earth he is, and I'm like,
right.
They know, but none of us who were actually born in the mountains, who are actual hillbillies,
right?
No, we can't relate to him. That's just crap.
All right, well, plug your show on Fridays.
Divine Science Everywhere. It shows up on New Thought Media Network, 4 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Central, 2 p.m. Mountain, 1 p.m. in the West, in the Pacific area. So, and if you can't be there live, look for us on the Media Network's New Thought YouTube channel.
Yes, New Thought Media Network YouTube
channel. Yes, there you go. And we're fortunate that the affiliated New Thought Network and New Thought Philadelphia also stream our program on their YouTube channel. So thank you guys for that. That's awesome. But yeah, if you can't join us live, catch us on Memorex.
We're going to let Tim have the last word here, or one of the last words. He says, "We are truly living in crazy land."
We are.
No kidding. Hopefully enough Americans will wake up. We really do need each other. Absolutely, yeah. Tim. And that, for this country to continue is that, again, that the people who are seeing all the craziness going on is that it is, I believe, our responsibility as people who love other people to speak up and speak out. And again, this is not about political parties. This is about the teachings of not only Jesus, but all the great masters. What would they do? How would they, the Old Testament is full of prophets going up to the king and saying, you are going the wrong way. Mm-hmm. So that's all we're doing here is we're saying, yes, we have a, we've gotten off to a little Y on the river here. And what we're doing here is we're making a course correction here back. Yeah. And we're encouraging others to make that course correction too. Reverend Jeff, again, thank you so very much. You'll be getting your paycheck in the mail.
Oh, wow.
Thanks. Next week.
Yeah. And let me remind everybody, we try to use a little bit of humor when we do this.
Right.
Even Jesus used humor. If you read the passage where he talks about the blind leading the blind and they both fall into the ditch, that doesn't sound so funny to us, but to the Near Eastern people 2,000 years ago, that was a hellacious knee slapper. I guarantee you that.
Do you think he would? Did they have stand-up comics back then?
Probably. I could see Jesus with the unknown comic, with the brown bag over his head. Yeah, I could see that standing up there. But we want to remind you, we do use a little bit of humor to call out the absurdities of it. But still, in the end, we do recognize that there is divinity to be seen there. Some people just tend to hide it a little bit better than others.
Absolutely. Reverend Jeff, thank you again. And we are all out of time. And again, thank you for joining us for our weekly review and also laughs here on the Fireside Chat. And the one thing I'd like to just to remind everyone is that we have a community here on this network. We are here for you. If you would like prayer or any type of support, all you have to do is to go on ntmedia.org/prayer. And there you can go ahead and send us a prayer request, or you can just go ahead and send us an email at info@ntmedia.org. We're here to support you. We're here to love you. This time that we are living in, I believe that on some level that all of us have signed up for it, to be light bearers, to bring about, again, a world that does work for everyone. All right. So on behalf of myself and Jeff and all of you out there, I am Reverend Michael. I'm going to wish you a very pleasant good night. And I'm going to wish you all a very pleasant, wonderful week.
Thanks for joining us this evening for Friday's Fireside Chat with Pastor Michael Mangus. Join us again next week at 8 Eastern, 6 Mountain for more spiritual conversations for today. For more information and replays of past shows, please visit the New Thought Radio and Media Network's Facebook page. Until next week, may God bless you richly and abundantly.